So episode 8, The Last Jedi trailer dropped today at the time of this video, and there's a lot of intrigue going on through this one trailer. It's a teaser trailer, but we get moments in this trailer, specifically the ending, which I'll get into, and some parts of the beginning that really intrigued me. The moment takes us right to where Rey, who's gasping for breath as she falls to the ground, and this looks like that she's training with Luke. We see a scene where she's training with Luke and holding a lightsaber while Luke watches on. And then he says, "Now just reach out, what do you see?" And Rey has a bunch of pebbles floating around her fingers. And we see glimpses of General Organa, may Carrie Fisher rest in peace. We see a broken mask of Kylo Ren. We see some odd location. I really don't know. It looks like a location or something. But here's what she says. Light. Darkness. Then there's a bit of Darth Vader's breathing and apparently Obi-Wan Kenobi saying seduced by the dark side in the background. And then she says this line. And then Rey says this. A balance. And that really intrigued me. Then we get a close-up view of one of the aforementioned books with the sound of a lightsaber igniting in the background. And it turns out what someone's hand is tracing, I don't know if it's Luke's or Rey's, but it has the symbol of the Jedi Order on it. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. And then Luke whispers, "It's so much bigger." And yeah, they're hinting at something. I really want to talk about that, but I really want to talk about this trailer first. And then we get a scene, and from what we gather, it seems like the Resistance lost their old base and have now moved to a new base, or are we just getting a more expanded look into the base on the planet they were on in episode 7? And they're sending it, and we see we're seeing a bunch of fire streaking across a field towards First Order walkers. Yeah, some people might say this is an Empire Strikes Back remake. And they're driving something on the ground and sending up a cloud of red dust or smoke. And as we watch, one hits the ground and bounces back up. And it's and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the planet, but they have the planet's name. And according to the Rain Johnson, it's way out there, it's very remote, it's uncharted, it's a mineral planet, and so there are mines on it. He goes on to say that the ships are flying over salt plains, cover a bead of red minerals, and that's the site of an old rebel base that's now abandoned. That sounds very familiar. It sounds like episode 4 when Grand Moff Tarkin discovered that Dantooine was an old rebel base. Yeah. Apparently, he said that it will end up playing a key role in the movie, adding that the Resistance fighters flying in the schemers seen in the trailer show up when they have to deal with a very pressing and immediate threat. And it sort of looks like the Battle of Hoth, let's be honest. And then we see a glimpse of Finn. He's encased in a pod. Presumably, he's still healing from his injuries on Starkiller Base. Meanwhile, the music starts to build up, and Poe Dameron and BB-8 are running through a hallway as sparks fly through the air. It looks like their ship's under attack, or an underground base. Well, I'm pretty sure it's ship because we see an airlock. And we see them running towards Poe's X-Wing, and it's engulfed in an explosion. And here's the thing about Poe. He was actually supposed to die in episode 7, but Poe wanted to stay. Yeah, they could have most likely explained that in a book. No, yeah, they are. So, apparently the First Order has found them. Or at least is out to get revenge. Next up, we see a TIE fighter get blown out of the sky as the Millennium Falcon, which is in turn being pursued by some additional fighters. Last we saw the ship, Rey and Chewbacca had brought it with them to Act 2. Has Rey left the planet? Has Kylo Ren found it? Or has Chewbacca taken the ship and taken the Falcon for himself? And then we see Rey running, full tilt with her lightsaber, or Anakin's lightsaber, somewhere. Is she fighting somebody? Is she training? Like, is she dueling Luke? Because that would be interesting. And then we see Kylo Ren, and okay, it was a badass look. He was looking insane. Like, you see his mask shadow showing that he might be further losing his mind. And he's got his lightsaber back, which I'm trying to wonder how, and sprouting a nasty scar across his face where Rey sliced him in Force Awakens, so he is injured. And then he says, I only know one truth. And Luke is back for the voiceover, looking over some burning ruins with R2-D2. So I'm going to guess that that is the scene where the Jedi Temple, when they were rebuilding it, because they mentioned in Episode 7 that they were building a new Jedi Temple, Luke was training a new Jedi Order, Kylo Ren killed them all. Maybe Luke's observing the area where R2-D2 is destroyed, so this is most likely a flashback. And we see a Captain Phasma again with a line of First Order stormtroopers in another scene filled with fire, marching towards the camera, and it doesn't look the same. Despite the flames, it looks more like a destroyed hangar base, from what you can tell from the rubble. And then we get a big space battle with X-Wings, A-Wings fly past the line of cruisers while the big green lasers from TIE Fighters streak past them. The shot is followed by another angle of the battle with an X-Wing blowing up a TIE Fighter as it swoops across the screen. And Luke's voiceover continues with this final line. I only know one truth. It's time for the Jedi to end. When we see Luke again looking over his shoulder. Huh. Okay. What does that mean? Like, Rey mentions how there's light, darkness, and the balance. So I'm starting to think when Luke tried to rebuild here's my theory, this is just speculation, so take it with a grain of salt. Did Luke may have rebroken the balance that was established after Anakin had killed the Emperor and himself in Episode 6, and therefore, when Luke tried to rebuild the Jedi Order, it broke the balance again, and Kylo Ren and maybe Snoke was awakened by this imbalancement, and he decided to destroy everything in his path? Like, okay, I get in the old AU that Luke rebuilt the Jedi Order and nothing bad happened yet. The Yuuzhan Vong happened, but they no longer had the power of the Force. But here's the thing. Who's to say whereas Luke did everything right, apparently so, in the old EU version of the new Jedi Order, what if Luke did it wrong? And it caused an imbalancement? Like, what if what he tried to do, whatever happened back then, caused a huge imbalancement that has awakened Snoke from his slumber, or whatever he was at, and caused this shift in the dark side and the light, now fighting amongst itself, and Luke, in his exile, has discovered that, yeah, the Jedi and the Sith, they're both causing problems. One can't live without the other, but if they both live, then everything will be destroyed. So he needs to build a gray area. It's going to go into a gray area, just like the Resistance and First Order. They've been fighting for 30 years. You could extend the Empire and the Rebellion. So basically, this has been lasting for 50 years. And one can make the argument that this war never ended. It's just like the light and dark. It's a never-ending struggle. And there have been times in the past, probably, that a third party tried to fix everything by itself, but it fell apart, and now it looks like Luke is now in the third-party role. Like, it's interesting that Chewbacca, Snoke, or Leia didn't really show much up in the trailer. Snoke and Chewbacca especially. I was expecting or one of the new characters to show up, but I can't wait what's going to happen when Episode 8 comes out. But, yeah, this whole imbalancement theory I'm going with, it ties into my Chosen One prophecy theory video that, to this day, still gets a mixed reception. Yeah, it's my most popular thoughts video on YouTube. Oh boy, and the comments were very divisive. Let's just say that. Where Anakin may have been, like, it's hinted in the EU that the Force might have been having enough of the Jedi's arrogance and the Sith attempting to control the Force, and they wanted the Chosen One to restart everything, like reset the process, thinking that it would cause an equilibrium. What if Luke imbalanced it and now he's trying his damnedest to fix it since Anakin's dead and there's no one and the chosen prophecy has been fulfilled technically and now it's all broken again? So is Luke trying to fix his mistake because, hey, my dad was the chosen one, maybe I'm the chosen one, and Rey might be the key or something like that? Like, it really would create a huge interest, a huge plot twist to show that it's not the Sith or the Jedi or Palpatine that were destroying that were like causing, that were like, oh, they're in the right, oh no, they're in the right. No, it'd be like they're both in the wrong. They've both caused this huge disaster that's coming. Like, it's not like the Yuuzhan Vong threat where Thrawn was trying to unite the galaxy through Force because, well, let's be honest, the Republic probably wouldn't listen to him because he's part of the Empire, because he was part of the Empire. But, yeah. Who's to say that there's an incoming disaster if this imbalancement continues? And I talked to one of my friends about this. Like, I even talked about this in the whole Chosen One video about the scrapped Darth Revan and Darth Bane scene from the Mortis arc, where they say that there's a force coming that will consume the universe. And I kept getting confused by that. Were they trying to say galaxy or universe? Like, galaxy I get, but is Palpatine going to consume the universe? That always confused me. So I speculate, is this building up to a possible big threat that will destroy all life? Like, the Force has grown tired, it has grown sick of this abuse that the galaxy has done to it. Like, you can also add, like, even the Yuuzhan Vong abused the Force and the Force took it away from them. Is the Force now thinking that it has to wipe out everything? Like, it'd be interesting if they go that route. It would have to make the light and dark have to compromise and work together. It'd be a genuine good twist. It'd be that leap of faith I'm looking for. If they really go in this direction, it would justify the prequels even more, in my opinion. It would help clear up some issues that happened. It would explain why the Force wouldn't let the Jedi detect Palpatine when he was obviously doing bad things. Like, they say it was the Jedi, it was the Sith Temple underneath, which is freaking stupid. Like, I know they canonized it, which is stupid. Like, I like my theory better when it was just, oh, maybe the Force was punishing the Jedi because the Force dictated that they have to die out because they have become too arrogant, too big, and too all-consuming of everything. But if they really go with this direction, it will actually justify the big reboot, in my opinion. Like, Luke could be disillusioned with the cycle of fighting between the light and the dark and is looking to balance everything out. So it looks like he might try to use Rey to, like, destroy Snoke and Kylo Ren. And then Luke might turn on her. Okay, I know that seems unlikely, but hey, this is speculation. I can do whatever I want. And Luke might be the key to try and fix everything in his mind, and Rey might try and stop him, even though in reality she's the bad guy here. Because if she doesn't do what Luke wants her to do and embrace the gray area, then the cycle continues in this never-ending chaos, and then everyone's screwed. Like, they don't know when, but it eventually would happen. So, if the trilogy actually does end when no one wins, that will be like the biggest oh my god moment. I'm pretty sure it would be a divisive opinion if that actually were to happen, because everyone wants the good guys to win, the bad guys to lose. But I like the gray area. I like the fact that maybe the good guys aren't as good as you think they are. Maybe the bad guys are righteous in some ways. I love that concept. I loved when George Lucas did in his Star Wars, when he did in his Star Wars canon. And then Disney bought it and tried to muddle it down and turn it into a basic good versus evil vibe and make everyone evil and demonic and make everyone good, perfect. Like, I want this gray area to show that there is faults in both the good and the bad sides, and just try and balance everything out. So, does that mean Luke will dismiss Yoda and Obi-Wan's teachings? Like, he'll probably use them to an extent, but he'll try to find another way? And Luke thinks that if he stays on this Jedi temple, it will help him find information that he's still looking for, that maybe he can't access. Maybe there's an area in the temple that he's been trying to get into that can't be destroyed by a lightsaber or use the Force. He needs someone or something that could be the key to unlocking it. Like, it'd be really interesting if they really go this route of maybe the dark side and the light side are just destroying everything and the balance has been broken. And if you get rid of the dark and the light just stays, that still causes the imbalancement. If you get rid of the light and the darkness stays, the imbalancement is still there. There has to be a proper balance here. So that would be an interesting thing they go for if they really do it. If they cop out, if they build it up and cop it out, I am going to be pissed. And I probably would hate this movie a bit. Like, I could get with the prequels. I get that they're bad. I get people don't like them. And I get that there's a lot of problems with it. But I like it because I could feel like I'm finding an underlying theme here, what George Lucas was trying to do. Like, me and a bunch of other people feel like George Lucas is a great creative idea guy. But when it came down to writing, he mostly had help. That's why episode 4 was so good. But when he was on his own and he did everything by himself and he just went rampant with everything he did, yeah, there's some questioning on that. And the yes men didn't really work helping out this. So, yeah, I'm curious. If Disney does this direction that I think they're doing, then this will justify the reboot, in my opinion. Like, I have been waiting for the reboot to be justified. Maybe Luke visited the Bendu at one point. If the Bendu's still alive or is on another planet. Or maybe, and this is just hopeful thinking, maybe he found Ahsoka at one point. Or maybe she's still on Malachor and they're going to go to Malachor to see if this is the area where Kylo Ren fell to the dark side kind of vibe. Yeah, me and someone else commented about this a lot. Like, we kept saying, can Ahsoka be in a Star Wars movie, please? Like, the daughter might be connected. Like, maybe the daughter and the son and the father's deaths have caused the imbalancement. Or maybe the Jedi and the Sith have worsened everything. Let's go with that. But, yeah, this is a twist I feel like they have to do. If they are just building it up, and in the movie they built this whole theory up, and they cop out at the last minute, I will be pissed. And then I will condemn Disney for failure. So, those were my thoughts on Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi teaser trailer. This was Near Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.